What's happening? Gordon Tamau here, and I am excited to jump in here with you and talk about invoices, estimates, contracts, and more. And so you might be like, well, if you're watching this, you're obviously interested in this component, and you probably use it in some way, shape, or form, maybe within another software. And so the reason why I wanted to jump in here was primarily because, many times we're using 50 different tools for 50 different things. And within Digital Unicorn, you can use this option amongst all the other wonderful things like your CRM, your email marketing, text-based marketing, AI automations, etc. And so it came to light recently, a friend that wasn't using this function but really needed it. And so getting in there and showing them how to use it and whatnot, I was like, I need to get in here and remind everybody else that they have access to this as well. So if you're a user of this, or if you're using something similar and just need to jump in here and understand the process of it, this is going to be super helpful for you as well. And so without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, if you are in the DU dashboard here, left hand column side, you're going to see payments. All right. And from payments, up here on the top, you got invoices, you got recurring invoices, you got templates and estimates. Recurring invoices would be for, you got the same product or service that you're billing somebody for over a period of time, and you want to send that to them, without skipping a beat. It would be something like that. The template option might be, a similar service product that you're offering multiple clients, and you want a quick way to just duplicate it and send it to the next person. That's what that's for. Estimates, just like it sounds like, right? If you're going to send somebody an estimate for a service or product or whatnot. Documents and contracts, this is a lot like what somebody might use for Adobe when they're doing DocuSign or something like that. And you can actually do that right within here, which is pretty cool. And I got people that are like photographers, wedding DJs, people in that kind of space that send contracts out to their clients, and then once they get the digital signature, they send over an invoice. And so there's all different kinds of use cases for it, but it's all built right within here, which is the cool part. It's in the same ecosystem, and it's super user friendly to use. I'm going to walk you through it. Let's start with the invoices and contracts. If I go to new, you'll see this drop down where I have an option to do either a new one, a recurring one, or if there was an existing one from another system you're using via CSV, you can upload it right here too. We're just going to go to new invoice. And it's a pretty nice, pretty layout. Right away, it gives you a preview of what this is looking like so far. It'll have your business details listed up here in the top right-hand corner, whatever you have in your system. Okay, your logo, you can put that there and customize it accordingly. As you can see here, I don't have a payment gateway connected to this account, but if you did, you'd be able to pull, products and whatnot from your system already, and it'd be able to charge, etc. But we're going to start this from scratch, okay? So you can edit the information here as you see fit, okay? As you can see, this is my demo account. I just got stuff in here, very basic. I'm going to leave that as is. And then you're going to have some kind of a product or service that you have in here. Now, if you haven't created one yet, you're going to be able to add one from here directly. You can also do it from the payments screen that we were previously on, but we're going to do it from right here. Let's just say hypothetically, I'm going to create, I got some in here from previous demos I did, and let's just say it's this one right here. You can adjust the price and quantity, etc. Taxes, if any of that's applicable. You can have a description on here, but hide that from it. Now, one thing I will tell you, you can have multiple products as well, okay? On this section here where you got a descriptor to talk about, Reading roundtables. One thing I want to point out is that this field right here, it's a little bit, I guess it can be a little confusing at first because as you can see, I typed it in here, shows up on the preview. This is actually meant for more of a note internally. So for your internal employees or yourself as the owner is really what this is for. If you were to send this out or print it, it's not going to actually show this descriptor. And so what you'll want to do, if you want to elaborate for the client, that there's some details behind what this is for, then my recommendation is you just copy that or cut it out completely and include that as part of the item descriptor, okay? And that way they can see it as well. And so for some people, it's super important, especially if there's like a PO number attached to it or some other kind of terms that you need to put. That's going to be important as a line item. Now down here at the bottom, though, You do have some other things with like terms and conditions that you could add in there as well. So if there were some special terms for this PO, you could put it in there. But I typically like to use this placeholder as a cut and paste one. So it's always going to stay the same. It doesn't really change a whole bunch. And so you could customize it in there. But for recent use cases, I've been just putting it in the item descriptor as well. Okay. And then as you can see, you can set up a payment schedule if you were to want to break this up for the person. That's also a cool feature. You can add multiple payments, select the due date. They're going to see that on their side. And then when you send it, obviously they're going to see the payment for that applicable schedule. All right. Discounts, if you want to add a discount, whether by percentage or a straight dollar amount, you can do it right here too. And then down here closer towards the bottom, if there's a late fee that you're attaching to it, you could designate what those terms are for the late charges. Tipping, if you're putting that as an option for it as well. And then if you had alternate attachments that you need to put on here, but you can see there's a file limit size of that, 10 files max and 20 megs size wise is the threshold for that. Okay. And within the space, the other cool part about it, if you have, other things that you need to attach in here, you can attach images, put links in here as well. And so you're not really restricted just to text per se. If you have other documents living either within your media storage here in DU or somewhere else, you can hyperlink to that stuff on top of it. Okay. And then from there, you want to select the customer. Obviously, you got to have people in your contact list here or add them. And then you would send this bad boy out. Boom, and it goes out. Okay. I'm not going to send it because there's nobody to send it to, but I'm going to save it. Oh, I guess it is going to require I have somebody. So let's do this and say, these are just some test emails. It's not even a real email here. Okay, we're just going to leave that one for now. So let's say hypothetically, I'm going to save that. And, oops, I think I keep hitting it twice. That's why. It's because my contact here, it's just a sample contact. All right, but that would send out if it was a real email. Okay. The other thing I want to show you here is this button up here, these top three dots here, and the ellipses here. So if you can see this here, you can get a preview of what this is going to actually look like. It's not going to do it because of the contact that I have. But you'll be able to see this window here. Basically, it pulls up in another tab, and you'll be able to see what it looks like from the customer side. The other side of it here, which I don't have a payment gateway set up for it, obviously, but you can record a payment. So let's say this is a client who paid you via Cash App, or they paid you with Venmo or sent you a check, etc. You can actually click on this option here, and it will allow you to record that payment there, and that way it reflects it here on the invoice as well. Okay. Manage payment methods for Stripe. So if you haven't set anything kind of defaulted yet already, which allows them to pay with any kind of credit card or bank transfer, this is the field that lets you do that and select what you're allowing them to pay by. Okay. And then global settings, if you want the kind of generic invoice settings set across the board, no matter when an invoice is created, that's what this is for. Okay. Once you send that out, that bad boy is gone. I'm not going to save this because none of that contact info is legit, but you would see that within this section here as well. Okay. The same process is going to apply for estimates. This stuff's pretty same, one and the same, I would say. As you can see, the layout looks the same. This is basically just an estimate and not an actual invoice, though. So this is sending somebody an invoice out that's saying, hey, this is approximately what it's going to cost. Do you approve of this? Yes or no? They determine that, turns it into an invoice next. So what you want to do, and then get paid for it on that invoice. Okay. Now the document and contract piece of it, I think is pretty cool because I actually use PDFs and electronic signatures quite frequently. And so as soon as I started being able to use it within here, I thought this was a phenomenal add. And so I want to show you how to do that. If you go to all documents and contracts, you're going to see all your stuff that was already here. I have a couple of templates that I was just playing around with some time ago. But I'm going to show you how to create one from scratch. And you can also upload an existing one. So hypothetically, let's say you already have some kind of a rough sketch for a contract in place. You could upload that right in here as a PDF. And then now you can add the placeholders for where signatures would go, etc. Okay. Now, let's say you have a little bit of a different scenario here. Let's say you have a a scenario where you have a contract and you're going to need to adjust some of the fields within that contract. I'm going to show you a way to how to get around that. Let me find an example here of a PDF here. I just need to find a PDF that can do the job. And it'll make a whole lot more sense of what I'm talking about here. In just a second. Okay, maybe this one will work. No, that's not going to work. Okay. I think this one will work. Okay. So I'm going to create a template here. Okay. A new document. Actually, I'm in contracts here. Let's go to templates. I'm going to create a template. Let's say you got a template that you're going to be using on a recurring basis and you want to be sending it out, but you're going to have to adjust some of the fields, like maybe the just simple fields that you're going to need to do there. I'm going to show you how to do that exactly. Okay. So let's create a new one from scratch. And we're going to have a blank canvas here. There's really nothing to it here. Okay. I'm just going to call this a test contract. All right. Now, you could either have uploaded a PDF, which I'm going to show you how to do too, but let's say I have a PDF already and I don't want all the stuff on there, but I want some of the stuff on there. The cool way of doing this, easy way to do this, is I just copy the items that I want from that PDF, and then I'll come over here and you can add, let's just say we want to add a heading up here, and then right here on this block, I'm going to paste in the content from my PDF that I had. Okay, so open it up on your computer. You can't see it because it's on another screen. And then just paste it on here. Obviously, this is not what we're doing, but it's all for an example purposes. All right. You can customize this how you see fit. Okay. So all your stuff's going to go here. And then over here on the left-hand side, you have these options for different things, right? One for payment settings. As you can see, you can do it as one-time or recurring payments, etc. A lot of times you might not be doing it directly from this contract. You just want a signature, and then you're going to send them an invoice, but you have the option, to do this stuff here. All right. Settings for this particular document, you're probably not going to mess with this a whole lot unless you want to, route them to another spot after this is done. But typically you're going to be sticking around this section over here of adding either pages if you need to add more, or adding elements to this specific page that you're going to be building. Okay. So let's say I got all the text that I want to, all the terms and conditions of this contract, and I want to add some extra fields here now. So these are the fillable fields that somebody can actually fill out when they receive the email from you. Okay. These are just blocks for you to build the actual page itself. All right. So if I was going to add something to here, right, this is where you can actually add, payments and products and whatnot from here. Okay. And then they could pay it directly from the contract here if they wanted to. All right. But in the example I'm giving you here, let's just say we're asking for their signature. Okay. And over here on the right-hand side, you can see right now it's currently red, which means that this is designated to go out to the contact. Okay. You can toggle this and determine who's it going to. So in this case, I'm going to say I'm the sender. Okay. This is for me to sign. And then I'm going to do another one for the recipient, and that's the contact. However you want to do this. Okay. You can even switch this stuff around as far as the order is concerned. And then you can make this as pretty or simple as you want, right? If you want a date field, same thing. Okay. You can make a date field, clone that one. Okay. Change this to me, etc. All right. Oops. As you can see, I could add pages here. This is just giving you a preview where it's at. And if you need to reorder this stuff, you can do that as well. Okay. Cool. All right. So in this case, we would be ready to go. Okay. If this is how you wanted it to look and you're like, hey, this is ready to fire off, then basically you would send it at this point. But we're creating a template for this. So as you can see, I'm going to save this. And I'm going to go back and you'll see this in my templates now. Okay. So now I got that test contract. So if I'm like using this recurrently, let's just say I'm doing weddings and I'm going to be sending this wedding contract out every time I get a new client to say, hey, they're ready to move forward. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to send you a contract over. Please sign that when you get a chance, and then we'll move forward. Okay, cool. So then you can then use this template, right, as a new contract, as you can see. So now it's got all my stuff here. It's got the signature spot for me. It's got my name already here because I designated as the sender. This, you just need to switch this. So now you just need to determine who the recipient is, right? So right now I only got me in this account. That's why it's only showing me. But if you had other people, then you would, other people in your contact list, then you would change that. So up here on the top hand side, you'll see recipients, okay? And then here's your drop down where you're going to determine who it is, right? So these are just test contacts here. I'm going to use Jane Smith as an example, okay? So now it's Jane Smith that's going to be the one that receives this. And if you want to reorder this, you can do this as well. Just toggle that and then drag them how you want the order to go. And what this means is that Jane's going to get this email first. If I left it this way, she's going to get this email first. And as soon as she signs it, then it's going to go to me, okay? If you want it the other way, you can go the other way around. And if it doesn't really matter, if you don't really care, it doesn't need to be sequential, they can both get it, then you can just send it out like that and they both get it, okay? It's kind of a nice thing to have in place. I like to do it the other way around where the client gets it, signs it, that notifies you, and then you get it, just so you kind of keep a pulse on the things that are moving forward. Just a personal preference of mine. All right, so technically that's all you would do. And at this point, you would just send that bad boy off if that's what it is, okay? I'm not going to send it off to anybody right now because we're doing a test. But as you can see, it's pretty intuitive and pretty user-friendly. And there's a bunch of things that we can do from this standpoint on the automation front. I'm not going to cover that in this video here, but just think of the option where you already had a set price point for a particular service that you offer. And you know that as soon as that contract goes out, then when that contract goes out, the next thing that the system automatically does is send the invoice out, right? And then automatically you're looking to get paid on that because they already signed the deal and you didn't have to do it, right? And then maybe once they even sign that, it moves them into a different stage of your pipeline on your CRM, sends them a thank you message, etc. Okay, there's all kinds of different ways that you can set this up, but the main thing that I wanted to point out is that this feature is available to you, and it's all just part of the same ecosystem. So if you haven't tested out doing anything with the invoices, with templates, or with contracts and documents, I highly encourage you to play around with it and just jump in here and do it. Like I said, it's pretty user-friendly and pretty easy to use. I'm going to see if this is one that I uploaded as a sample to. Nope, not that one. There was one that I put in here as a PDF, and I uploaded it. And this one? Nope, wasn't this one. All right, I might have to show you that on a different occasion here. But here's one. Yeah, so this was an example. I was using this as an example. This is a PDF that I uploaded. So the same thing, you can see it uploaded the PDF, right? And then you would build it the same way. So let's say now I'm ready to have signatures in here, right? I would do that. Just put them where you want them. If you need a text field for them to put their name, or initials. I mean, you can get as fancy as you want. You can resize these boxes to fit because sometimes you might want to have it signed within a spot on the page here, and so you got to resize this. You can do something like that too. We've done that with a lot of different scenarios. So there's all kinds of use cases for it. All right, but the point is to get in here and just play around with it. Get in here, understand, learn about the tool, determine how it's done, and if you run into any hiccups, then I'm the guy that you want to hit up to help you out with that. So with that being said, we're going to cap this off, and I hope this was beneficial and useful to you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.